I'm Millie, I'm 19 years old, and I'm a third-year science student.
My name is Parita, I'm 20 years old. I'm currently a tourism student and I am about to graduate.
My name is Tejas Souza and I'm 20 years old, and this school year I'm going to be working a full-time internship.
My name is Mac, I'm a third-year communication student and I am looking to go to law school in the future.
Hi, my name is Tasha, I'm 24 years old and I'm a dance teacher.
My name's Cal, I'm 36. I am a product marketing manager at an IT tech firm. I also own duty-free clothing. I also partly own Pretty Girls of Soca, and I also partly own a company called LSE.
Are you satisfied with where you are in life right now, what you're doing? What are your dreams, goals, and aspirations? Yeah, it's kind of heavy to start off.
You guys are asking for everything right now.
Am I satisfied with where I currently am in life? Certain aspects of my life, yes I am. Certain aspects I'm not satisfied yet, but I'm progressing towards being satisfied with it. But I feel like you get to a point where you're satisfied and then you're like, what's next? Like, what's more? And I feel like I kept hitting that roadblock where I get satisfied with, oh, I accomplished my goal, and then I'm like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do now? Like, what's next for me? What's the next goal? So I feel like in life in general, I'm always, just trying to come up with more goals.
With myself, I would like to say that I'm very, very fulfilled in my life. More so just like the idea of growth, like personal growth and being self-aware and being grounded, being in the moment. They're all things that I'm definitely practicing at the very moment, but I'm very content with my level of understanding of it, and I'm always looking to grow farther.
I guess I could say that, am I satisfied? To be honest, not really, but I think that's the kick of it all, Because you're not satisfied, you have this sort of internal force to keep you pushing towards whatever your personal goal is. My goal is I'm your typical brown kid, like I do want to go into medical school in the future, and I'm nowhere near that. And where I am right now, I'm not content, considering my academics and just have been mentally, like for the last 2 years of university, it was tough, especially going to a school away from home. I think it was a lot of like adulting, and I was like, I had to realize a lot of things. Like, it doesn't matter if you have finals the next day, you've got to wash your dishes and you got to feed yourself. So I think, those are sort of roadblocks for me. But if I were to say I am pushing in a better direction, I sort of took this summer to pause and reflect on myself, and I was like, listen, like, you have to change something about the way you've been working so far. And I think when you take that moment to sort of step back and look at where you are and be honest with yourself, I'm not happy where I am, you push yourself in the direction that you want.
I kind of understand satisfaction.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up too. Crazy.
And what that actually is for you guys. Because for me, like, satisfaction is if I ask you for $1 and you give me $1, I'm satisfied. You know what I mean? It's getting exactly what I asked for, or getting exactly what I set out to go and get.
Yeah.
From that standpoint, I'd love to kind of get more of an understanding of what satisfaction is for you guys.
I think it's just being happy where you are, sort of, because life is never going to be that, like, end goal. It's
Another person might say that's a complacent mindset.
elaborate.
Yeah.
Meaning, I'm good at this. I have the potential to be great, but I'm good at this, so I'm content.
But that's
I'm okay
adjusting.
right now.
There's a difference between being in gratitude versus adjusting to the circumstances you're in. There's a lot of things that cannot be in your control. For example, time. Like where you want to be, it's going to take a lot of time, and it's sort of enjoying the journey that you're in, because a lot of things are not going to go your way. For me, waiting to improve on my academics, I can't just jump into school when I want, and I can't just get accepted when I want. And it's just a lot of waiting to do. It's not a thing in my control. So rather than just adjusting and being like, okay, you know what, maybe I should just give up on wanting to be a doctor, I can just take my degree and do something on the side and make some money and just live the life I want. It's rather just enjoying the sort of, I guess, wait period that you have.
But here's why I disagree, because your idea of waiting is, in that scenario, is for me not the same. So you're saying waiting to go to school. I may not go to a actual university or college campus, but it doesn't stop me from learning my field, right? So for every moment that I'm not in college, I can take or look at a curriculum and go, all right, what courses on here are being offered? And then is there a alternative online that I can do that may be, I pay $100 for it and I'm doing it on my computer, but I'm learning the basics and all that stuff online. So it's complacent and it's actually doing a disservice to yourself to say, I'm here right now, so let me just enjoy the moment. Moments will always happen. You have to be disciplined enough too at the same time, because you may not be motivated to go to school right now, right? But if you're disciplined, you'll get through to the next phases until you can get to school.
The idea of people, like I believe that everybody can still enjoy their moment regardless of what it is. Like, we'll all be going through stuff, you know? Like, I have my fair share, I'm sure you do, I'm sure you do, everybody in here. But that doesn't mean that we have to look at it like, okay, like I personally am so excited to start working in September. September 3rd is when I start. And like, I'm super excited for it. However, I can't be looking at every day from now until September 3rd and be like, I can't wait, and I'm just chilling. I'm just sitting cozy, doing nothing productive, nothing to grow. And
so then from that mindset, and I agree with you, by the way.
Yeah.
I didn't disagree with you, but I get where you're coming from. But with that mindset then, is the idea of satisfaction real? Because you can always want more and you can always change your mind. You can always choose different.
I think satisfaction is like, it's like a drug, because like when you do something, it satisfies you. I don't want to use the word satisfaction, because I think satisfaction is like an exterior thing. It's something that you receive from things that you overcome and stuff like that. And like, I believe in internal fulfillment, and that being the case always, whether it is you're confronting somebody, whether it is you're playing soccer, no matter what it is, I believe that in being true, groundedly true and genuine and authentic in your actions and being the person you are, you always feel fulfilled. But there's a way to, I don't want to say avoid, but there's a way to still feel fulfilled. And I mean, I want to say like it's to not have expectations and to be really in the moment, to be really grounded, to know that whatever comes your way, you can't get caught up in it.
So I think what you're defining then, I think what you're stating then is within the process of becoming satisfied is managing the expectation in your satisfaction. For example, you used the scenario of you and your boys going out, you're trying to bag a girl for that night.
Yeah.
You shoot your shot at several of them and you come up empty.
Yes.
Here's the thing, in that expectation, the expectation is I'm gonna bag a girl that night.
Yeah.
Right? Bagging a girl, I'm assuming you mean to
Yeah. Like going somewhere. Yeah.
like to have extracurricular activity.
Extracurricular activities.
But even bagging the girl at the club, there's no guarantee that the action after the club will actually be fulfilled, right?
Exactly.
So in that you have to manage expectations.
That's why I feel like the key term that Taylor used was in the moment. In the moment, at that time, you feel like you're dissatisfied. It's like, oh, I was trying to go home with a girl, but it didn't work out. But then there's also looking on the positive side to things. It's only going to last a little period of time. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be butthurt about it for like the next 5 days. I feel like it's all momentarily. It's all happens within what's going on in your life at the time. I mean, September hits, like I said, 3 jobs back to back. I'm going to be super stressed. But then I know that's only going to be a 4-month span. And then next year in January, I'm going on a month-long trip with my family. That's what satisfies me. And I'm like, it was worth it in the end.
So, I feel like a lot of you, or most especially people of color, their parents play a very big role in the decisions they make in life. Whether they go off of what is expected of them, what's the reaction you've gotten because of the choices you've made? Like, are your parents cool?
I kind of got lucky with my mom. She's like, I'm going to go on stereotypes for a second. My mom is not the stereotypical African parent in any way, shape, or form. And I think that stems from what choices she's made in her life and how she has approached her life, because she got an art degree, which was very unconventional, and she grew up in Kenya, so obviously that's very unconventional. And her mom was in finance, her brother went into law, so like it would have made sense for her to go into one of those two places because that's what our family did. But she went and got an art degree because that's what she wanted to do, that's what she was good at. So I think for my brother and I, she isn't like, I want you to do this, I want you to do this, I want you to do this. She's like, I want you to be happy, but I want you to have good, firm goals. And if you are achieving those goals, then I'm going to support you. But if you aren't making any effort into, achieving your dreams and your goals, then I'm not going to support you because you're not showing that you've earned the right to do what you want to do. Then you need more guidance. But she's very good at listening to what we want to do, researching as well. She loves doing that, researching, but really encouraging you. And goals in my house is the biggest thing. Make goals, establish goals, look where you want to go, don't look backwards, make a mistake, pick up and keep moving forward, but show that you want to do something by putting actions towards your words is what my mom very advocates for very well.
I love that. I love the fact that you sort of have that support from your family, and I mean, I guess we all sort of expect the same narrative about, immigrant parents, like strict,
Yeah.
like doesn't really understand their kids, which I feel like I have met, a lot of my friends are sort of similar to yourself, and even myself. Like, I think as the topic is the journey to self-discovery, I think in your life you have a few groups of people. You have your cheerleaders, you have your dad, you have your teachers, you have even enemies, and you sort of, when you have that kind of role in your life, like a parent who really supports you, it helps you discover yourself, because when you're honest with them, it helps you discover that maybe instead of accounting, yeah, you maybe do want to go into journalism, or maybe you do want to go into writing. And I feel like having relationships with people in those sort of groups with your friends and family that really sort of constructs an idea for yourself, because that's what we do, right? As much as we want to be these internally like warm-blooded creatures who regulate their own temperature, we do acknowledge other people's opinions, and it does matter to us. So really having a healthy close circle, such as your parents, or if not your parents, it can always be your friends, and it's always those people. We use them as a mirror to reflect things. And when you were saying that thing about I shot my shot like this week, next week, the other week it didn't work, it's because we sort of carry a bag of insecurities with us. We carry everything with us. We carry our hopes, we carry our dreams, we carry our insecurities. And when we have an opportunity that doesn't go our way, we like to be, it's our nature to be like, aha, I knew it, I am a failure. Or, aha, I knew it, I'm not getting it done. Exactly.
Yeah.
We use our people around us as sort of confirmations of who we are. That's why it's so important. It's amazing that we try to push ourselves, that, I can keep pushing myself for myself, but you are only human, You cannot let go of those bad aspects of yourself and just be this holier than thou, like above everyone else. You're just as flawed as anyone else, and it's really about what are you surrounding yourself.
Well, personally for me, like with my family, I always had my mom always support me and push me, did everything she could to kind of like help me get to where I wanted to be. But as a dance teacher, like, as much as it's changed in like the way dance is viewed nowadays, and it's a lot bigger, it's still looked at as like it's not an actual career. And as you were saying, like immigrant families, my grandparents don't see that as like satisfactory enough. They're like, okay, well,
It's
like
a hobby
kids.
to them.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally her words. It's always constantly like, okay, well, that's nice, that's a hobby. It's good that you're making money off of it.
But what do you want to do?
Yeah, where you go,
What's your
what's
real
next?
goal?
Yeah, kind of thing. And it's just like, it's kind of hard to. It's like you kind of question, like, are they right? Am I going in the wrong direction?
When I second guess myself, you got to be.
It's the familial, like we have generally. There's a very strong respect for not only your elders, but for people who are in your family who are your elders. So automatically, when they say that something isn't right, you're like,
You question if it's right.
Bouncing off that, growing up, I did pretty much everything a kid can possibly be enrolled into at a rec center. I did, dance classes. I've danced all my life. As a little girl, I was like, I'm gonna become a dance teacher. That was like, that's what I wanted to do. And then coming from a traditional Indian family, to them, this is not my opinion. This is like my family's. They would be like you said, it's a hobby to them. They'd be like, okay, you can dance, but when are you gonna start studying for the real thing that you want to do?
Like,
But
okay, joke's over.
exactly, and even in right,
Fun's
exactly.
done,
Yeah,
exactly.
and even in like elementary and high school, I would say I was in so many different clubs, like a variety of different clubs, and it was all clubs I was super interested in and so invested in. But it's not that I was putting off studying or doing homework and stuff, but that's how my parents saw it. So eventually they saw me working so hard, but for a club, and they're like, when is this even gonna pay off? Like, this makes no sense to them, right? So to them, they'd be like, maybe you should stop doing that and focus on your studies instead, which was it was so disheartening to me because there were things that I loved doing, and maybe if I explored them more, I could have turned certain things into a career, maybe ventured off into something for a little bit, you know, just found myself in that way. But having parents that weren't really supportive of that because all they saw was like doctor, businessman, lawyer, you know, stuff like that, where the three big
corporate
careers that you
line,
can go into. Like, why aren't you going into that? Why are you dancing? That's
And I feel
what
like
they would say.
that entire mentality is why so many people nowadays just like they become complacent and find a career and they don't actually push for their
and they
dreams.
don't feel fulfilled in
Yeah.
that career.
Yeah, they never push for
Going
that.
back to that, yeah.
It's like, who was in How to Get Away with Murder? The main actor, Lola Davis.
Yes.
Her Oscar. Okay, when she won the Oscar,
She's nice.
I cried. Like, her speech was amazing, and she said this one line that really stuck with me. She's like, "The greatest potential that is found will always be in the graveyard," because so many people sort of end up living lives that they didn't want to, and
I guess growing up, my parents, from like what they've told me their experiences, they didn't have all these opportunities versus us. We have millions and millions and millions of things that we can go into and all these different opportunities, and sometimes I feel like that's confusing and overwhelming.
Oh, it
having
is.
all these opportunities and all these different fields and careers that you can go into, you're like, wait, I like this, but I also really like this. How do I incorporate both together to make that work for me, right?
I think that's definitely the thing that I appreciate about my mom so much, is that she sees that one of the reasons she wanted to come here is because she wanted to raise her kids in a place where they have opportunities. Like, to a level, you can't really blame certain generations for it because all they know is, you know, this is what you're taught, this is what you're grown up to do. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. So
I just want to interject really quickly. R. Kelly enjoyed peeing on little girls, and he enjoyed it. How do you guys feel about that?
In what context?
In the same context of satisfaction and exactly what you guys were just talking about. You guys just said, everybody just now sat here and said to me that we need to discover and we want to find the things that we enjoy and we want to find the things that we like, and we're going to focus on those things and we're going to lead it into a place, and people need to understand and accept and blah blah. You can like shit. People will always like different things, and some things are just wild and outrageous that they like and they make a career out of it. There's a career for dominatrixes. That was a conversation that was happening over here. There are some men that enjoy certain types of things. There's some men that enjoy certain types of lifestyles. There's some women that do as well. You can make a career out of anything today. You can like a lot of different things in this world that can generate money for you, but without a plan and a goal, it makes no sense because all of these things don't pay your bills.
I think, it's not just, wanting to do something. It's like, support me as I, do this. I want to, learn how to fly. No, what is your goal? How are you going to accomplish that? I think it's more being given the space to actually do that without there being pushback or
And
forget.
also, I feel like your plan might make sense to you, but it may not make sense to someone from the outside,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like, you may have this entire life plan, after school I'm going to do this, this, and this. Someone else, as like if you're talking to a friend and they're like, but when are you going to do this that you also said that you wanted to do? Where does this interject in your plan? There's always going to be that outside external force that's going to be like, but what about this? Why don't you do this instead? I feel like at that point, you just have to go with your gut and go with what you want to do. Like, example, I went to McMaster first year. Halfway through first year, I realized this is not the program I want to be in. Without telling my parents, I applied to all these colleges, set out an entire plan, finally accepted the college in May. That's when I called my dad saying, hey, I know you're going to be angry with me and super disappointed. I know that my life might feel like hell for a little bit, but I have this plan and I just need you to hear me out even if you don't support it, right? And I feel like eventually, I had to move back home and I was bad for a little bit, but eventually now my parents see that she loves what she's doing, she loves what she's learning, this is what she wants to do, and a near future might not be as clear of a plan at the moment for myself, I would say, but down the line, I know exactly how I'm gonna get to where I need to go. And obviously things are gonna change, plans are gonna change. I might not do what I wanna do in a few years, but this is what I wanna do now.
Is there a right way or wrong way to find your career
No.
path?
I think there's a conventional way and an
Yeah.
unconventional way.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
wrong and right isn't the way
Yeah.
to describe it, yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause there's always going to be a wrong and a right way to people, but I think it's more of, okay, this is what most people want, this is what most people think is correct, this is what most people think is incorrect, so it's
Right.
more of, this is the normal path, this is the abnormal path.
Yeah.
I think it's more so just like, it's not it's just like, for me, the way I perceive it is just like, it's a way. Do you know what I mean? Like, no, nothing, no like abnormal, normal, conventional,
It's your own
unconventional, just
way.
Yeah.
a way.
Yeah.
It's more not really about the way, but it's about achieving the end result, basically.
Yeah.
And there's efficient ways though. There are
Yeah.
like would you rather, take the one with more roadblocks, or would you rather take the one that is, makes more sense to spend less energy and like optimize, your performance. So like obviously maybe you can call that the right or wrong way, but it really is about the traditional route versus the non-traditional
And
route
the
these
person
days.
as well too.
Yeah.
It really
Exactly.
depends on, your strengths, what you're good at, because, I could be really good at reading, but like I'm not really good at, applying certain things, or, like I test absolutely horribly. So exams are horrible for me, but during the year I kill my papers. So like my marks during, I make up for that. So like obviously, exams for me, they're
So
scary.
what happens when someone on the outside is looking in, because this is the same thing of staring, right?
Mhm.
So from the outside looking in, you have your dreams and as you just said, you test horribly, right? What happens if I know that and I see that, but you're not aware of it? I.e., I'm great at math,
Mhm.
but I love singing. I want to be a singer, but my voice is shit.
But how can you love something that you're not good at all? I feel like
Some
that's
people
Oh, that's
do.
easy.
That's
so
so
Very
easy.
If you
Yeah.
enjoy
That's half
doing
the rap.
something, you enjoy
That's
it.
half the rap.
Like I suck at
That's half
singing,
a
but
rap right now.
oh, I melt my heart, melt like
No,
I
but
already
I
know
believe you
there.
can
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I believe we can say. I
But
think
then
that's
it's like,
Like,
you have to
100%
understand that you can't always support
Right.
people in everything. Like I understand, like you should totally support people, but there's a boundary and there's a line where you can't really support people further. Like if you know that person can't sing and you're gonna support them and push them for what? To literally do
As a
nothing.
friend,
For-
they would need to be told.
Yeah, like you
For-
have to
And
be
that's
real
where
with
the
yourself and
support comes in. That like, as my friend, I trust you enough to tell me that I suck at singing, and my friends tell me that all the time. But
You're
it's not like,
gung-ho at
not
it.
like I'm like,
You're-
no, in my eyes or in my ears, like it sounds so great. I really want to record it down.
No.
We can't always grow in everything. You can have something that you can start with that you can build upon.
Mhm.
There you can grow. But if you have nothing to grow or build upon, like maybe
Like,
you have
what
a decent
can't I do?
singing voice. So it's like it's
Like,
not
tell
good,
me-
it's
tell
not
me
really
what
gonna
I
get
can't-
you
What
anywhere.
can't I do? Like,
I feel like that's also where getting out of your comfort zone comes from. Me and Tatum had a conversation a few months back. Hey, this is
Remember that.
about him getting out of his comfort zone, me getting out of my comfort zone in different ways in terms of like career, school, etc. Like the summer. And that really has shaped me to a whole other being. I feel like in the 4 months of just not working, and that was stepping out of the comfort zone for me. For someone who will have school 7 days a week, I will
Wow.
still
She
go
does the
to
most.
work hours on end. Even if it's just a
Yeah.
part-time job, I'll be working like it's a full-time job, busting my ass just to pay for school, and that itself would be a motivating factor for me, right?
all I want to say is going back to what you said. My belief, like my core value in the idea of doing things. I don't think I'm capable of not doing anything. The truth is if a gymnast started doing started gymming or whatever it's called at like 8 years old, and I started at 20 years old, I could be a gymnast, but I won't be as good as him, and I'm aware of that. But I will never ever, no matter what it is, say that I can't do it. Do I choose not to do it? Yes, I do. But I'll never say that I can't do it. So if I wanted to sing, I could sing. If I wanted to break dance, I'll learn to break dance. If I wanted to handstand, I'll handstand. If I wanted to play the guitar, I'll play the guitar. If I want to be famous, I swear I feel like I can be famous. I'm not even playing with you guys.
So from my perspective, a lot of what you guys are discussing is going to boil down to sacrifice. So anything is possible, and I agree with you. You can do anything. There's no conventional path, right? I totally agree with that. but you guys are gonna have to sacrifice something.
For sure.
In every step of this thing, you being a dance teacher, a dance instructor, there has to be sacrifice. So a lot of what determines your potential for success is the discipline and the sacrifice.
The willingness to,
Yeah, to
Determination.
it's do you choose to commit to this to that extent?
Yeah. No, literally, you have to be willing to. If you don't know exactly what you're gonna have to sacrifice, as you're saying, but you have to be willing to let down the line. Something's gonna happen. Something's gonna change.
Right.
You're gonna have to
accept
say,
that.
what am I willing to give up to get
Yeah,
where I need
exactly.
to be, right? So for you, right now it's your time. You're saying, I'll do the 3 jobs in order to get my school ship paid for.
Yeah.
So mom and dad, I can prove you wrong and prove myself to be a success, right?
Yeah.
And each individually will have to make those choices at some point.
And me, it's just like 30 minutes of singing a day. that's my
That's good.
yeah.
That's dope.
It's baby steps. So I'm not saying I'm like nice.
I
Definitely
don't feel like doing Nora right now.
Honestly, I probably could, but not in front of you guys. For sure. Not in front of Kevin, especially. That guy's too cute.
Thanks for watching another episode of Unreserved. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on all social media at Unreserved with no third E. Come we can't spell. Yeah, that's all.
If I want to make $1 million, I can make $1 million, baby.